Today we're here in Atoka, Oklahoma. It's in southeastern Oklahoma. It's a sleepy little town with a rich history. An interesting thing happened back here in the 1940s and 50s. A young man named Kirk found himself living alone and working and going to school. And we're here to walk the streets and to see the scenes of some of those days, even though it's many years later. And Dr. Kirkland, I understand that you lived actually across the tracks here in Atoka and over by Dunbar School in a little small house.
Yes, I lived across the tracks, across the street from Dunbar High School. That's where I lived, in an old three-room house with holes in the roof. And when it would rain, it would sometime rain in on me, and I would leave the house and walk down the dusty road until I get to an area there, and I'd cross over and get over on the tracks.
I understand that you didn't have any transportation, not even a bicycle, so it's my understanding that you'd cross over and run on these railroad tracks to town. Is that right?
Yes, I'd get over on the tracks and I'd go approximately 3 miles. I would run most of the time because it was cold and didn't have the proper clothing, and I would run, get off the tracks, and I would be close to where I would pick up my papers and deliver it.
After you'd worked for Skeet for a while, that he gave you an interesting job that you'd never done before.
After working at the drugstore for approximately 3 or 4 weeks for Skeet Carney, he walked up to me one Saturday morning and gave me a money pouch and asked me to take it and deposit it at the bank. It was the week's receipt. I've never been in a bank before at the age of 13, so that was one of the jobs that I found myself doing at that particular time.
Most of us who are my age and younger, we don't remember or have any idea about the day when segregation was around, especially down here in southeastern Oklahoma. And tell us about where you could find to eat, and how did you go eat, because you couldn't go in the front door and eat in cafes, is that right? Because
of segregation, and I could not go in the front door at the stores and places to eat, I'd have to walk down the alley and go in the back door at Johnny's, and that's where I would get my bowl of chili and my pop, and that was where I got my lunch. So today's been a very interesting day in Atoka. We've walked the streets, the tracks, and we've been all over really. We've seen the scenes and the sights and the sounds of southeastern Oklahoma, where Kirk grew up many years ago. Left here and went off to do some amazing things and inspire a lot of students. That's what I tried to capture in the book that's been written, A Rainbow in the Dark. And it's just been a pleasure to be here with Dr. Kirkland today, and I hope this gives a better light on his life and his times here in Atoka.